Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Day 3 of the summer sales, week 1 for aescripts and AE plugins, summer sales week. My name is Ryan Selvy. I'm a motion designer and a graphic designer that loves to use a lot of the plugins that I get off of aescripts. I'm working with Lloyd this week to help bring you guys the best information so you can make the best choices when you want to download some of the awesome deals that we've got going on aescripts.com. Up until Friday, you can get up to 30% off when you spend over $250 or more. Don't have $250 to spend? No problem. You can still get 20% off. 30% is just a nice little added bonus if you build and create a really big cart. But it's really great to have everybody here. We're seeing a lot of people in the chat saying hello. Hi to Hayden and Dennis and Bilal, Next Turn. We have Flux, Bishan, and BT5I all saying hello. We love seeing you guys in the chat, and we love being able to talk to you. That's the benefit of this being a live stream. So if you have questions, if you have comments, please, by all means, make yourself heard. Say hi, and we would love to answer any questions or just hear what you have to say. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring in Lloyd, the creator and the man behind all the magic. So please welcome Lloyd. Hi, Lloyd.
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going good today. We did a few little updates to the stream, and this is our second day doing Instagram Live successfully, and I'm feeling good about it. So I'm excited.
Cool.
So do you just want to go through a little bit about the week of sales and kind of how you pick the people to go off of and what's available and what people can get until Friday?
Actually, I actually wanted to talk about the promo video. Every year we have a custom promo video that just promotes the sale. And we have been working with Duo Team for the last few years on this summer sales one. And, you know, we create tools for artists, right? And so we figured, why not reach out to the artists and say, create something cool with it. And so one of the things we like to do is just say, listen, all you have to do is communicate that there's a sale. That's it. Everything else is up to you. And we've just been getting amazing work, and Duo Team has just been knocking it out of the park. And with the gamification, if you will, that we have going on this time around, they really had fun with that sort of like video game. If you really, what's really cool about the promos, there's so many details. Like they're collecting each one of those diamonds is 10 points, right? And then if you count them all, including the last 50-point diamond, you get 250 points, and therefore you get the added thing. So very cool.
Cute little Easter eggs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead? We can actually go ahead and we can queue up that promo real quick so we can just see what you're talking about.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, check it out. Perfect. Yeah, I love all the sound effects. The sound design's great. Just how everything interacts so seamlessly is awesome. I got to work with the Duo Team a little bit when I was creating a lot of the assets for the stream, both like the starting soon and the stuff that's floating around the screen. And they're just so great to work with and so talented. And it just their files are nice and clean. So big thumbs up to a clean file.
That is true. It's usually, if the better the artist is, the worse the file management is. So right. It's really great to have a nice balance of the two. And the one last thing I want to say about this is that because the summer sale is 4 different sales, really, it's 4 weeks throughout the summer, and they are so really into the concept and the storytelling and stuff. Throughout the whole summer, we're going to be telling a story. So we started with the teaser. Now we have week 1, and then we'll have week 2, week 3, and week 4. So it'll become almost like a collector's item. And just a story for you to follow. So it'll be fun. If you go to our YouTube page, there's a Summer of Sales 2022 playlist where you can see them all. And also, by the way, they also create custom versions for, like, right now you just showed the vertical version because we're streaming on Instagram, but there is a 16:9 version and a square version. So much cool stuff.
And Dennis is asking if this was made purely with After Effects and scripts plugins and such only. I can't speak to their entire process, but a lot of it was built, I know, in After Effects.
Yeah, they use After Effects. They definitely use After Effects. This spot specifically has a lot of frame by frame animation, and but it also all flows through After Effects. So yeah,
which is always extremely admirable. Frame by frame is skill for both doing it and also having the patience for it. So,
and here's a little unplanned surprise announcement, but we're working on a new plugin that it's going to bridge the gap between being able to paint in Photoshop using all of the Photoshop brushes, but have the After Effects timeline. So it's going to kind of connect Photoshop and After Effects and create a link between the two, so you can actually do your frame by frame in Photoshop, but use all of After Effects timeline and animation features. So keep an eye out for that.
Perfect. That's awesome. Nice little secret reveal leak, I guess. And then over on Instagram, Escape Design's asking for the best render plugin for After Effects, and I think you know that answer, Lloyd.
Background renderer, Max.
Yeah. Or BG renderer also, if you're doing a Google search. It'll pop
BG
up.
renderer.
But you that's actually one that you actually had your fingers in originally, right?
I created the initial version of it, but since then it has been taken over by Extrabyte, which is a great development team, and they created a whole new version of it with a CEP panel, and so you can get notifications. It's super awesome. So yeah, check it out.
Yeah. Which that is not on sale this week. We have a big collection though of participating authors, and you can check that all out right on the website. If you go, it'll be right at the top of the screen. It'll have the green bar.
Just put it in the chat now.
Oh, cool! And it's also going to be in the chat, so you can click that and flip through. You'll also be able to go and see a preview of what's to come in coming months for the next few weeks of sales. So maybe you can peruse those and see if there's anything that you guys are interested in and you want to hold off until you can get that sale. It is a great excuse to add a wish list and have a shopping cart of things that you might work on in the future.
Definitely.
So today we actually have a few guests though, which I'm really excited about. The first one up that we're going to be having on is Pencil Park, and he was gracious enough to actually go ahead and create a pre-recorded video for us, and then we'll bring him in for a Q&A. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to queue up that video. And Pencil Park, well, actually, I'll let him describe it in his own video. But here, you guys, check it out.
Hi, Lloyd. Hi, Ryan. Hi, everyone. Motion designers, keyframers. I'm Fred, known as Pencil Park. In order to not waste time, and because my level of spoken English is not at its best, I will read to you my little speech. I think it will be better for everyone. Trust me. So I'm very excited to be a part of the aescripts summer sales session and introduce you to the tools we've created for the community. The one I want to talk about, Volumetrix, was released recently and is a logical continuation of the work I started with the Guides app. Volumetrix, I would say VNT, okay? Volumetrix, so it's too complicated. VNT is a tool that allows you to create numerous isometric projections, but not also. It also makes unique volumes effects with soft light falloff, and most of the parameters are accessible. You can even add keys to the extrusion, which is great. Our first tool, Guides app, allows you to create and use an isometric map, a hex map, a golden ratio grid, and some guides based to the rule of thirds, etc., and many features. That inspired the creation of Volumetrix, VNT. So I will show you a short overview. Before, I want to answer those who will have some doubts. VNT is not a layer duplication script, not at all. In fact, we did the math, and now, from now on, you can focus on your creation, and that's the trick. But let's get straight to the point. Volumetrics is a simple button that you can dock in your workspace. It allows you to launch the UI and not to clutter your workspace. I will create an isometric grid, a guide layer that will not be visible in your export. So here I have a shape layer, a simple square. Volumetrics offers 3 primary types of projections. You can also select some tilted views called bias, which are helpful when working on an isometric plane. So I choose a left side projection, I decide to apply the soft shadow option, and I validate my choices. Here are the calculations, then the result. A darker color for the border will give a better effect. I can also decide to test another projection. Everything is done on the fly. I will let you see the results in real time. Here is the essential part. You keep complete control of the created shape, light angle, extrusion quality, plus many other adjustments under the layer itself. You can animate everything with keyframes. Extrusion quality is a practical option if you work on tiny objects and then zoom in a lot or magnify them during your animation. However, use this option with care as it is resource intensive. Now I'm going to show you a quick skew projection. It's somewhat an intuitive projection. In isometry, there is no perspective. The volumes are illusions. We jump without further delay on this Illustrator file in flat design that I will first import directly into After Effects. You can see the Illustrator layers in this composition. Observe how the selected layer is immediately transformed into a shape layer when the selection is made. That is the same process when you want to extrude some text. I define my options. As you can see, it's a complex shape. VNT does a little calculations, so I let it work. Ta-da! My object is now extruded. But let's create something more accomplished. I'm going to switch to slightly accelerated mode. That's more acceptable. Finally, my little animation was made with Volumetrics in a few minutes. Here is the starting file.
Awesome.
Right. Thank you so much for pre-recording that for us, Fred. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring you on in. So if you guys could please welcome Fred. And since we only have limited space here, I'm actually going to get rid of myself, but I will still be here. So you two can have the floor.
Ryan!
Okay, so hi
Fred,
Ryan, hi Lloyd. So
Fred.
this video lasted an eternity.
Oh, wait a second.
So yeah, I did it.
Might be muted. Let's check this out real quick.
A few
We are
hours. Sorry.
using a different service than we have in the past. So.
Okay. So
there you are, Fred. Lloyd, can you hear Fred?
Yes, yeah. I can hear him. Yeah.
All right, perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's great.
Okay, that's cool. That's perfect. Thank you. Thanks very much for to welcome Pencil Park. I mean myself here. I'm glad, and it was a pleasure to show you how this last plugin work. Volumetrics.
By the way, I finally get it. It's kind of like a play on volumetrics.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But I keep an English name just as a challenge for me to pronounce it. Anyway, I wanted to stress the point that you can also use this script, this plugin with text layers. And I didn't show it in the video because the video was very long. In fact, because when you are showing a tool, you have many possibilities, you have many options, etc. So you have to test it, to try it, to understand and to know, for example, what is the scale of the extrusion. It's arbitrary. We say 100, 155, etc. It's not really pixels because it's a math calculation. So yeah, there is plenty of things that users will need to try to understand and to catch the essence.
But it's good to know that it's based on a live layer. So like if you do it with text, you can then change the text later and then it will update, right?
Yes, except if you make an extrusion. In fact, you can extrude text already in After Effects. So with my father-in-law, we weren't focused on that. And the fact is that when you want to project the text on the different direction, the animation works perfectly. You can use a plugin to animate your text, and it will work for on a wall, for example, that you can project. But if you extrude the text, you will have a copy. We will keep a copy of your text, and it will be, hidden. Not really hidden, but you will. Yes, and you will have the new layer, which is a shape layer with the whole extrusion of the text. So you can manipulate shapes. You can animate shapes, but you will consider your text as a shape.
Yeah, it makes sense.
An entire shape.
So if you update the text, then you would need to re-extrude it as a shape.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. So if you had a typo or if you made a mistake, I'm extremely sorry, but you will redo the thing. So,
but still very cool. I mean, it's pretty amazing the renderings that you can do without having to go into a 3D program. So it's super cool.
Thank you very much.
Also, over on Instagram, Selvy wants to know: are all the layers still 2D layers?
Yes, we never touch. It was a challenge, in fact, at the very beginning. It was to try to mimic 3D without 3D. So the layer is a 2D layer, and we don't set up a camera or something. Just 2D layer, because, like I said in the video, you have to keep in mind that isometric projection is an illusion. You don't have exactly. So that's why we don't need 3D. If we want to compound rotations or things like that, it will be done maybe in a short future, but not right now, because there is no literature about it on the internet. because when you want to turn something, even if you just turn 1 degree,
it throws off
the illusion steps. So we were thinking about it, but we can't create a face which is not already created. Because it's not 3D.
But that's not your limitation. That's basically a limitation of the isometric medium. I mean, that's kind of like the whole trick. It's 45 degrees. That's it, locked.
Exactly. But that's an axonometric projection, which means that in the short future, we will add other features, not very popular or known. I mean, dimetric projections, trimetric projections.
Cool.
So dimetric projections are close, to the old RPG games. It was a false isometric projection.
Yeah.
I think maybe users can enjoy that. And the trimetric is not really pleasant for the eye, but yeah, it will be an option. So why not? We can put it in the plugin. So we will do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for showing this to us. And
thank you very much for it.
Glad we were able to get it out this week too. It's great timing.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm actually just gonna we'll play the official trailer for it because there is a pretty cool trailer that you have made out for it, and that'll play you off. But thank you so much for coming on, and we will put the link in the chat for you guys to check out. But thank you so much, and have a good one. Whoa, where'd my video go? Oh no, you guys, you're gonna get a Lumix. It's not sponsored by Lumix, I promise.
While you get that sorted, yeah, this volume and I mean, this is one of those things that I keep talking about. After Effects being this such a modular program, you know, it's like the things that you can do that would never ever possibly have been imagined, you know, when it was being created, and with this amazing API where you can create plugins and scripts and extensions and all this sort of stuff that just like, you know, take the existing tools and you can apply, like Fred was saying, a lot of math and make it do some really cool things that would be very challenging, if not impossible, to do by hand. So,
yeah, I feel like that happens a lot though with a lot of the things that you find on aescripts.com. It's like things that you would think you would need another program for, or you would need to download something or pay for some other subscription. But then it just, you know, you get this little add-on and it can suddenly change everything. I personally have really struggled with isometric products in the past, especially when it was to that point, was kind of breaking that 45-degree angle. And if you need to do something like a curve or some sort of thing that goes against everything else, and not having the mathematical process to just have it happen, can be really difficult. So, and it's a popular style too, so people know when it looks off or janky.
yeah.
And so it's kind of cool to just have that.
But it is actually a 2D. It's a 2D thing. It's a 2D rendering of a fake 3D thing. So the fact that it, like you said, the fact that it actually is 2D, that's super cool.
Yeah, I saw somebody actually in the chat was asking about if it was through Cinema 4D renderer or through Classic 3D. But since it's not actually 3D, I don't think it's doing
it's
either.
Shape layers. It's 2D shape layers and a lot of math.
Worry about it. Great. Okay. So next up, before we have our next guest on, we want to talk a little bit about a really cool project that I know, Lloyd, you're passionate about. And so let's play the thing, and then we can talk about it. Can I just be the first to say that it is a little creepy where artificial intelligence is going with being able to like splice in things and make decisions based off of missing frames, but it's also making our lives so much easier in the long run. I can't wait.
Okay, well, this plugin does not use AI. It was actually created by Paul Tersley, who's a very seasoned and experienced visual effects compositor, who's been in the business for a super long time. And this is one of those products where it's like a knowledge dump from his brain of many, many years of knowing all the tips and tricks and techniques to fix, you know, problems in VFX. And he created a product that lets you be able to tap into all of that knowledge. So,
So you're telling me that's not AI? How does that composite it so that it can fill in the frames?
oh, this is how VFX were always done. You know, like to be honest, back in the day, what made a very good VFX compositor is a compositor who knew all the cheats and all the tricks and how you can make something look real that's fake. And it was done through, you know, compositing tricks. I don't know, like you can do different mats and like, you know, like one way you can basically detect a duplicate frame is you take the frame before it and the frame after it. Here, where's the camera? And then you take the two. They're two frames in time. Oh, this is backward. Here we go. And so then you put them one on top of each other, and then you do a difference mat. And so the difference mat subtracts pixels. So if it's not black, the result is not all black, then you know that there's a difference in the frame. That's why it's called a difference mat. And you can then get those values and then operate mathematically based on that. So that is different than the way artificial intelligence, to be honest, is kind of like a pretty dumb way of working. What it does is it just tries every possible variation until it finds a match. So it actually utilizes the extreme computing power that's available now in GPUs to really go through every iteration until it finds one that looks right. That's how AI works. Whereas in the old ways, because we didn't have that luxury, you actually needed to know what you were doing and actually do it specifically. And so this tool works that way. You know, and it does also things like tracking, and you know, like for example, you can do. He has if you go to the product page, he's got a tutorial where he removes blinking in an actor, and the way that's done is it tracks the eye, and you know, it basically looks at frames before and after the blink, and then it replaces the eyeball from when the actor wasn't blinking, and then you basically remove a blink. And that's pretty cool, right? Because sometimes the actor might be blinking right as he says the product name or something, and the client is like, we can't afford to reshoot it, but we can't have him blinking at that point. And you know, how do you do that? So yeah.
You should be quiet about your criticism of AI though, because the robots are listening at any given moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I find it pretty ironic that they called it artificial intelligence, because it's actually not intelligent at all. It's
like, doubling down. Okay, all right.
It's like brute force, you know. It's like the bull pushing against the wall until the door opens.
Oh man, that's brutal. But yeah, no, I mean, I think this will be a lifesaver for a lot of people, especially when you're working on any sort of client work and the footage isn't what you want it to be, just because there's maybe a blip or maybe there's a inconsistency in any sort of footage that you have. And to Lloyd's point, if you go ahead and you check out the website, it will have on the product page a walkthrough of a few different tutorials. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pull it up real quick. You can get to it at any point by just going, and there's obviously the green bar at the top where you can click for details about this week's sale, and it'll bring you to a complete breakdown. You'll have the promo as well. I'll bring this down. Here we go. And you can go and you can see all the products that we're talking about. I'm trying to do my best by putting the links to the products that we have in the chat as go along. But you'll be able to go through and you can go and you can click through any in particular. This one
That
is
one's
made
by Paul
oh,
Tursley.
Paul Tursley. And you can see frame restorers right there when you pull it up. It's $39.99. It's normally $49.99. But as we were saying earlier, there is a tiered system to the percentage off this week, which is really exciting. That's a new approach. And you can see over here, not only will it walk you through the entire product, but it also have plenty of tutorials, nice and lengthy, to help you get there with whether it's footage cleanup solutions or removing light flicker. And that's all for your convenience.
And on the subject of products that do not use AI, but instead use very clever math to do things, our next guest created Limber, which is a character animation, character rigging product that uses all of this math and knowledge. And I will let him do the rest of the introduction. But I just thought it would be a good segue.
That's a perfect segue. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to queue up the intro to, I guess we'll do Limber first. And then after we go through that, we'll go ahead and we'll bring him on in. So here you guys go. Here is the trailer for Limber. All right, and just like before, I am going to disappear again, but do not worry, guys. I am still here, still listening, and I'm still talking. One thing before we go ahead and bring Steve in, I'm just going to say, I talked about it yesterday a bit. I obviously look up a lot to Ben Marriott. I watch a lot of his videos. In his thing, he was talking about his favorite extensions. He was comparing Limber and Rubber Hose, and he actually said that he normally prefers Limber over Rubber Hose because he normally likes how things turn out. So if you're a Rubber Hose user like myself, make sure you guys check out Limber because apparently it is the one that is going to get you the more results that you like. So I'm going to let Steve take over from here. And we'll also, I really want to talk about his other projects a little bit after we talk about Limber, but there's also a free version of Limber now, but I am taking away his spotlight, so I'm going to go to him real quick. Hey, welcome to the stream.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I can't believe it's like nearly a year since we did this last time. It feels like just a few months ago.
I agree.
But you
Sorry, I was
introduce
a bit
yourself?
late, by the way. I clicked on some kind of Google Meet link, and anyway, I'm here now.
Oh, they have no idea. No one knows. You weren't late. You were right on time. You're like a wizard. You arrived exactly when you want to. But yeah, you want to tell us a little about Limber and then also the exciting new development about Limber Lite?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I guess for people who don't know, Limber is a tool for character animation in After Effects, and more specifically, it makes limbs, so arms and legs mostly. And it's a good kind of midpoint between quick and simple and sophisticated and powerful. So that's what we've tried to do right since the beginning, really, is kind of get the balance just right. So if you want something with almost like a single click that you can just kind of like rig up and get animating really quickly, if you don't want to deal with too much kind of intricacies and sort of spending ages fine-tuning everything, you can do that. Or you can dedicate a bit more time to understanding all the nuts and bolts and rig up all of your own artwork you can bring over from Illustrator and embed that inside a limb, which is a single shape layer. The whole tool is shape layer based. There's no bitmaps involved anywhere. But anything you can do in a shape layer, you can get inside a limb, and then use just two controllers. You parent one to the body and the other one to your foot, or you could parent the foot to the controller, and then get animating.
And one thing, I think you touched on a good point about you created Limber as a balanced product between ease of use and thing. And one of the things that I like to, especially now that character animation is so popular in After Effects, they are, like Ryan was saying, other tools. And a common question is, which tool is best and all of those things. I think what really matters is what works for your workflow. And what I think makes Limber great, in my opinion, it was created by you, who is somebody who's actually using the product, actually creating character animation, and you created a tool that you felt was necessary, right? Because it, you think the way artists think, and sometimes you don't want too much complexity, or you just want to basically get going and do the actual animating and not get buried in the rigging. And so that's one of the great things about Limber, and it's been proven by its popularity, right? Like it's literally being adopted across the board widely, and it's for that reason, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we came out just over 4 years ago now, and to begin with, a little bit of a slow burn, but we kept adding features that were either requested by users, or, like you say, quite a lot of them came through me continuing to use it on countless commercial jobs, and then just realizing, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we did this, or wouldn't it be cool if we did that? And then working with Mike to incorporate those ideas in the tool just meant that it just kept growing and growing, and now it's really is used by a lot of people, which is amazing and really lovely to see.
Actually, that's also worth highlighting, that a lot of people might not know that this is Limber's created in a partnership with Mike Overbeck, who's the creator of Joysticks and Sliders, which is another massively popular tool for rigging and character animation. And so I was really pleased to see you guys come together and do a brain trust meld.
Yeah, you guys are making it real difficult for me to leave After Effects for anything. Like, I should learn other programs, but you guys are just having me stick around.
Good to know.
So yeah, no, Limber is actually discounted to a great $31.20 right now. But as of late, actually, just recently, you launched Limber Lite, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I kind of had the idea maybe last year. And then just suddenly I really wanted to make it kind of get out there as soon as possible. So I sort of put Mike under a bit of pressure to see if he could rewire some of our code to output this kind of slimmed down version, which we released about a month ago or something, a few weeks ago, I can't remember. But yeah, so I mean, there's always been one free character rigging tool out there, which everybody knows, and that's obviously Duic. And it was the first, and it's been around a long time. But when we started making Limber, when I first started making it, before it actually involved Mike in it, it was so simple, and it was just going to be free. I mean, I was just doing it on my own. I wasn't really a developer at that time. I was, just an animator who used some expressions and was kind of, daily getting better at expressions and better at code and stuff. But I didn't really have the kind of self-confidence to sort of say, I'm going to make a commercial product. So I just kind of made this little thing, and I was like, I'll see if I can do this. I'll see if I can get it to do that. And it was so much fun, and it worked, that it kind of grew. And then when I got Mike involved, I realized that we could really turn it into something bigger, and it grew in the making. And then when we released it, it needed to be a commercial product. But I was kind of thinking back, and I remembered that it's not so much the original vision, but kind of like when I was first playing around with it, it was a nice thought to think, I can make this thing, I can stick it out there, and then everyone can use it, like literally everyone, because I can just make it free, and that's kind of nice. There's so many free tools out there, and so many of them are actually really good, So I wanted to kind of like offer something that anyone can use, that doesn't cost anything, and just also keeps it really simple. So it's really like a one button, you just click it, you get a really simple path-based limb that's just like the sort of fundamentals of IK. And then you can, there's sort of like that reduction of options, that kind of like, limitation there, I find sometimes is actually quite liberating, because you sort of think like, oh, let's just kind of make it do this, or let's go with that kind of style. And because it's so simple, you can kind of concentrate on the movement, and the next stage, the animation, rather than sort of like getting your head bogged down in how rigging works or whatever. So yeah, that was kind of the idea with that.
No, I mean,
I agree, by the way, with the limitation aspect. I think it definitely, what do they call it? Necessity is the mother of all invention, right? So I think it might spur a whole new style of animation, like simple. So yeah, very excited to see what comes of it. And also, I should say, Steve, that like the spirit of the After Effects community has always been very giving. When we started aescripts, everything was free as well. One thing, unfortunately, reality is that unless you can somehow kind of make it all work, you can't sustain it forever. So this way of having one free tool, but if you want to have more, then you can have a paid tool. I think it fits really well in the spirit of the community, and it's available for people who can't afford it. But if you got this job and you can actually, and you need a little extra, then you can justify it, and you've already learned the workflow basically. So.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the essential kind of dynamic properties of like what is the IK and how that works with two controllers and the FK, that's all there in Limbo Light. So once you've kind of got used to those, you can then upgrade, like you say, when you get a commercial job, to justify the cost of the full version. And also, if you've actually started making a character with Limbo Light and then you find, oh, you know what, I really want those limbs to look more like this, but I can't do that with the free version, you can actually buy the full version and then copy and paste those upgraded limbs, if you like, into your character that's already rigged, because Limbo has these really cool and really simple copy and paste buttons that just kind of copy a limb and paste it into another one in another character with a single click. So the actual sort of workflow, if you like, if you want to call it that, from one tool to the next, is just seamless, really. I mean, the bones, we call them bones, right? These path-based limbs that are in Limbo Light, they're exactly the same as the ones in the full version of Limbo.
Yeah, awesome.
It's great also that you don't have to start over again. That's such a game changer, because obviously you're on this time crunch and then you're like, oh gosh, I'm going to need this new tool. I'll upgrade, but that means I have to start over again. And the fact that you don't have to is great. And kind of to both of you guys' point about getting a commercial job and upgrading, guys, just make your clients pay for your plugins directly or indirectly. Like, use this as an excuse to be like, okay, cool, like I have this job, because it's going to make it go so much faster. You got to remember that your time is also money, and if you're going to spend so much time rigging all these things up, if you can buy this tool and you can speed up your workflow, it's going to end up coming back around, because then you can still charge for the work that you're putting into it, and it can really just change your whole dynamic of working on projects. Speaking of which, I do want to make sure that we do highlight Pen Pal, which is something that I have been using a lot on my streams lately. I've wanted to talk to you actually, because I've had several people message me and be like, what is this tool? Like, is this built into After Effects? How do I get it? And people are really excited about it. So I want to make sure we highlight it real quick. And I have the video, so we'll cue that up and then we'll talk about it real quick. All right. I will say that, it has saved me so much time. I also have experienced that you can not only just affect shape layers, so if you're animating shape layers, that's cool. I mean, it's great. I use it for that too. But where it's also been really helpful for me too is adjusting the shape layers of masks, and using the masks and just bringing that in. I'll be struggling with something, and I'm like, oh no, I'll just use Pen Pal real quick, and then I switch it out. And it has saved me so many times. So Thank you. It's an amazing tool.
Cool. No worries. Yeah, PenPal just sort of like came out of years and years of little moments of frustration with the Bezier tools in After Effects. I mean, I love After Effects, and I like using it, and I like to use it as much as possible. I like to do my style frames in After Effects rather than Illustrator if I can, because it saves time later on in the process, and I've got, you know, access to some effects and things I might want to use. But the actual kind of like pen tool and the sort of Bezier drawing tools in After Effects have just got quite a lot of little subtly missing features. You know, the most obvious ones that I think probably everybody's come up against sooner or later is that you can't zero out a single tangent. You know, you can click on it and zero both, but if you've got broken tangents and if you want to make one of them completely zero, there's actually no way of accurately doing that. And then we keep finding new things, like even just the recent update that we did a few weeks ago to PenPal, we included this new thing where, you know, if you've got a closed path that's got, say, like 5 points, and you want to kind of break it on 1 point, but kind of like open it up, you know what I mean? Like, so you end up with like a new point that's, so there's kind of 2 points where there was just one, almost like you're opening a necklace or something, you know, like you can't do that in After Effects. You can only open a closed path between 2 points, so you get this gap. And then it's like, oh, well, hang on, I wanted, you know, if you wanted to sort of, I don't know, turn a ring into a snake or something, you might want the whole thing. And so with PenPal, you can just kind of like usually just select some point or vertex, or tangent, and then click a button, and it'll kind of like do that to the path for you in a click. So there's a lot of things like that. And I mean, I think almost everything in PenPal is derived from, you know, or it simply is something that you can't do in native After Effects, or it certainly makes stuff a lot easier. But a lot of it is just stuff that you can't do.
And very reminiscent of Illustrator too. I mostly use PenPal a lot of times to use the align tools that you have an align, you know, tool in After Effects, but it can't apply to specific points. And getting it to apply to those just selected points that I have has been really great with making sure everything stays lined up and straight. And it's a wonderful tool.
And again, the result, as Steve said, of years of many minor frustrations. So again, a tool that really is a real world tool that you use for all, you know, every day, and it really is going to help you just get your stuff done better and faster, more accurate. I can't tell you how many times I would zoom in just to get that zero tangent in as close as possible.
Yeah.
So
that's about right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's a pleasure to have you again. You know, you were here for the last time, and it's always a pleasure. You make some really great tools, and I'm hoping that everyone else has a chance to check it out as well. I saw some compliments in the Instagram chat saying that it was an awesome script. So your work is not going unnoticed. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. It's good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you both. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Bye.
All right, guys, and we have one more guest up, and this one is another really. These are all really like strong programs and scripts today. And so the next one we actually went through also previously on another another week of sales, and this is really going to help your workflow, just especially working with clients hand in hand. And I'm going to go ahead and play the video for it, and then we'll bring him on in. So just cue this on up. Check out some Modec. right, so that was Modec. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Steve, who has been with us last time. I went ahead and put the link also in the chat. Just like last time, I'm going to disappear, but I'm still here, guys.
Hey, Steve.
Welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Going great. Thanks for being
Doing
here.
great.
Cool. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, a little bit of a different format this time. We're live on Instagram, which is great. And it's great to have you here. I know last time you walked us through a bit of the features of Modec, and you've been working on stuff. But for those watching that have never heard of it before, I just want to give a quick rundown as to how it works with clients and how it works in your workflow.
Yeah, So Modec, it's quite an ambitious project. It's pretty big tool. It involves a desktop app, a web app, and a kind of backend server and everything. Basically, what it does is it allows you to take your After Effects templates and make them available online for other people to basically plug in their own data. So there's an online editor where they can go in and they can like type in data to change text on your template. They can add in their own media. They can kind of change up videos. There's a whole lot of stuff they can do with your templates. And it also kind of goes a step further than that because it's like a template automation tool. So you have this online interface which anyone has access to, even if they don't have After Effects on their machine. And they can build kind of complicated automations where you can kind of link to spreadsheets. You can link to APIs and you can schedule renders, that kind of stuff.
I mean, that's one of the big, incredible things about it is the fact that someone doesn't need to have After Effects to become part of the process. And a lot of times when you're working with clients, you have to like render something out. You have to try to like make different adjustments, whether that is like developing a sheet and having them work with it. But the idea that you can go in and you can update the sheet and it will seamlessly make updates into your content is remarkable. And it just really helps speed everything up.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of different uses. It kind of has a very broad range of uses. Basically, like the one that I found kind of interesting is people are using it for like digital out of home signage. So if you have like a restaurant where you have like the menu, like kind of menu items and specials and things, you don't want to kind of have the owners of the establishment kind of going to a motion designer all the time. You can kind of have them just open up on their computer or even on their phone the editor, so they can just like change specials and things, and then it kind of in the inbox they get a video and they can put it up on the screen straight away. There's like also stuff it can be used for like real estate listings, like when a real estate agent wants to like kind of make a really cool listing video which uses their kind of on-brand template. They can kind of film stuff, chuck it into a template, and they can like receive the video on their phone pretty much immediately.
I mean,
that's amazing. I was just going to also say, for example, that what I love about this product is that it kind of took this concept that Adobe made, which is the motion graphics template, which is the Mogert, which, the reason they created this was because historically, when you were an After Effects artist, you would create graphics and then you would pass a rendered file to your Premiere Pro editor. And ultimately, during editing, the editor would come back to you and say, oh my God, can you change this? We changed this text to this or change this color to this. And that back and forth became frustrating. So the Mogert allowed the Premiere Pro editor to be able to do all these changes themselves without having to go back to the After Effects artist. But what Modec does is it actually opens up that concept to anybody. And the truth is, it's usually the clients, not the editor, that is making these requests. So having the client being able to make the changes themselves directly is like really ultimately where you want to be with this, right? And it's so cool to hear about the restaurants and the real estate things. And you're right, it's like endless the possibilities of what you can do with this.
Yeah, I think it like really opens some doors for like kind of doing like having a different relationship with your clients, like even for like social media posting stuff. Like if you have someone who's running a Facebook page, they don't know how to use After Effects, they have a templatized content that they're putting up all the time. Why not give them like an editor online where they can just change it up and do that? And you can make your templates very powerful as well. There's kind of there's this whole system on the documentation, which you could probably read through, where you can add in these kind of commands into the Mogets to add in certain features to like make like very dynamically duration change like comps. So you can like use basically like expressions to change the duration of a comp when it gets rendered in Modec. So you can make these kind of really dynamic videos. And you can also like build sequences of mobits. And, yeah.
Yeah, because when you're doing different versions, the content changes, and therefore you need to dynamically adjust the template to fit the content. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
And it also, like a lot of times it's hard to, I want to say like client proof a project, especially like let's say that they do have After Effects or something, and they have someone that has they're like, oh, my nephew knows how to update these files, can you just send me the files? And you send them over, and then you see it posted somewhere else, and it's something got weird and something didn't work out right. This is a really good way to kind of proof that and make sure that when there's still updates that it still fits within your template and nothing gets wonky. And I think, I mean, to both of your guys' point, the idea with the restaurants, and it's a no-brainer because the stuff that constantly updates, but it really expands the type of clients that you can have, and the reach that your designs can then go to. Now, there is a thing that I do want to bring up with subscriptions, and do you just want to talk real quick about how your pricing module works for using Modec?
Yeah, so right now there's 3 tiers. There is a free tier which kind of gives you 2 weeks of trying it out. There's a pro tier, and then there's enterprise. Basically, pro is kind of what you'd want to use if you just kind of maybe have like one or two or like one kind of template that you're just kind of sharing with one client, and you don't really need really advanced features. There's kind of limitations in terms of data rendering and spreadsheets and all that. But your enterprise is kind of unlimited. You can invite as many people as you want. You can have like hundreds of people invited across different templates. Yeah.
And it's really cool because it makes you into kind of a production house, where this is kind of a feature that, you would have to kind of rely on a gigantic agency in the past for. But especially if you're working with a client that wants to share it with a lot of different people, or you want to have a lot of hands on it, but you're a sole freelancer. This is really cool that it kind of opens doors and gives you access for an affordable price, that you can go and you can work better as if you were like a giant agency or design studio.
Yeah, and I'm also like kind of actively kind of growing this tool as I'm going. Since I was on the last stream, it's got a whole new like set of features. There's kind of rendering that can happen inside the app, so it will render out like an uncompressed video, which then gets compressed and uploaded without the need for like encoder or anything like that. It's like now a kind of fully like movable window and there's also a kind of render log and everything.
And yeah, so you have a desktop app for this, and then also you can view things on your phone, right?
Yeah. You can also open it up on your phone. It's kind of fully mobile ready. You can kind of like drag and drop stuff onto the timeline, just like with touch enabled stuff.
That's remarkable. It also, as the world's opening back up and we're getting back out and meeting with clients again, I feel like that's a pretty big game changer, because you're away from your system, or you're away from things that you can edit otherwise, and suddenly you're the magic man with fingers that can just switch things out.
Yeah.
But great. Well, we're really excited to see as this continues to grow, and like you said, you can get started for free, so hopefully everyone can go and check out. Before we say goodbye to you, just want to make sure, were there any questions anyone had in the chat? And then also, did you have any questions or anything you wanted to add, Lloyd?
No, just that the possibilities are endless with this product, and it's truly super exciting. It's so many people can use it, from like somebody who is a salesperson and wants to make customized messages for everybody in their CRM, or you're a teacher and you want to create custom content to teach your kids that changes every day. It's like.
It opens a lot of doors.
Yeah.
But great. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any questions. So, go. Shafina's asking what the app is. It is. It's called Modec. I'm gonna go ahead. It's pinned in the chat, but it'll also be. I'm gonna add it one more time in the chat as well, so you can click it out.
And Steve's last name is Lewis, so it's Steve Lewis is the author name if you're looking at it through the sale page. So you can see all the different options.
It's an honor, as always, to talk to you, and we're excited. Do you run like a Twitter or anything for your modec, or do you use that mostly just through your own channels?
So we do actually have a Slack channel up now for kind of getting help and all that. You can find it if you go to modec.io/docs. So in the Modec documentation, there's a link to the Slack just below the first section there. That's, I think, probably the best place if you want to kind of ask some questions and if you have some kind of feature requests or anything like that.
And also, you can always open a support ticket on our site as well. That will also connect you directly to Steve. But if you do have more advanced and you want more interactive, I think the Slack is definitely a better way to go. So,
fantastic. All right, Steve. Well, we will let you go, but thank you again for coming on, and we hope to talk to you again soon. Really excited to see how this develops. And if you guys, by all means, if you guys download this, you start subscribing, and it changes your workflow, please tag us. Please tag Steve. And so we can see how this is changing.
Yeah, please tag aescripts on any social, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Instagram specifically is where we really keep an eye on things. If you're creating cool content with any of our tools, but specifically with these kind of behind the scenes workflow tools, like you can create amazing things, but nobody would ever know you're using Modec, right? So if you can actually tag and mention that when you post something, we will put our entire, we have a huge social media following, and we will repost and promote it and hopefully get you more followers and stuff. So we really are really interested in getting the word out as much as possible.
All right, Steve. Well, take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Cool.
See you again, Steve.
Cheers.
Bye.
All right, that's everyone we had up for today. This isn't our last stream, though. We have one more stream on Friday, which we're excited about. We're going to be having NataWork and DataClay on, and then we'll also kind of just walk through anything else that you guys have questions about, highlighting any of the last minute snags that you might want to grab, and all the remaining deals. Today was great. It was really excited talking to everybody. You have all of the links available in the chat right now, and it should be on the replay of YouTube. It'll all pop up. But then also you can always just go to aescripts.com, and it'll bring you to the sale page where you can click through all the creators and you can see everything that's on sale.
Yes. Awesome. Thanks, Ryan.
We will be back on Friday at 12 o'clock Eastern time. The pleasure is ours as always, and we're really looking forward to it. We're going to go play you guys out with the promo one more time, and once again, that's made by the Duo team, and we're looking forward to see you guys on Friday. Thanks. Talk to you soon. Bye.